Hello, everybody. This is Tamás Kasa from Hungary. I'm a sales closing specialist, and I will tell you a funny story how this connected to relationships, how to stop being a single, and how to let go old relationships that you don't want anymore, but you are still have your attention on. I have a very famous international writer, lecturer, and matchmaker, relationship specialist, Gabriele Strasky, who is from Vienna, Austria, and she just about to issue a book, which you can see behind her, Love Like Romeo and Juliet. And this is the apropos why we are talking. And as you know, I'm servicing salespeople all over the world. And one of the biggest problem a salesperson or woman can have is with the relationship. So please, Gabriel, introduce yourself and please tell me how did you get into matchmaking and into a relationship coach?
Well, thank you very much first for having me. I'm very happy to be here. My mission is to help as many singles as possible to love like Romeo and Juliet without the trouble of having to die, which is the subtitle of the book. Without the trouble of having to die, because people forget that Romeo and Juliet, first of all, they were teenagers, and I'm not sure how honest or how lasting a relationship when you're first in love as a teenager. Usually it doesn't last too long. But she was like 12, he was 15. Those are international guesses. Anyway, I got into matchmaking by happenstance. It was a coincidence. It was not planned. In 2001, I moved to Orlando, Florida, after having met someone through a matchmaking service. And that guy happened to be the IT guy of that matchmaking service that, by the way, does not exist anymore. And that was a matchmaking service in Hollywood. And back then in 2001, we had no, or our clients didn't have the capacity to send us digital pictures, so they were in the mail, and I took the pictures and scanned them, and then we had the discussion which one should go first, and no, this one is not the best picture to go with the profile, take the other one. So I had to call them, and sucked me into matchmaking. It was the digital pictures, actually. That's how it came about.
Wow, amazing. Uh, what is your education and how far are you away from your education doing relationship coaching and matchmaking?
Very far away. Very far away. Let's start at the beginning. I grew up with artists, with musicians mostly, and actors.
Mhm.
So I knew how to move on stage when I was really small and little. Then I attended a fashion school. I'm a certified dressmaker and tailor. So if you want to, I could tailor your coat, but I'd be very expensive and not very experienced. So don't do that. And then I became a bookkeeper and an accountant. I worked for international um, companies like KPMG, Arthur Anderson, and big ones like that, big concern. I became a controller. So I have a very, how should I say, very analytical approach to um, a lot of things. Then I did a master's in general management. And and then I thought, well, there are lots and lots of people who concentrate on controlling and sales and bookkeeping and accounting and taxes, but nobody does what I can do with love. And in 2006, I started to do lectures about love and relationships. And that was more or less just to help friends that I knew. And they asked me, well, why don't you give a lecture? So my first lecture was 2 hours. And then, judging by the questions I got, the next one was 4 hours. The next one was 6 hours. Then it was a full day. And then it was a weekend. And then we added the translation first in Bratislava. So, and then it was 3 days. And since then, it's usually 3 days when I do it in English and 2 days in German. But I don't deliver it that way anymore. But there I saw that it's not only singles that come to the seminars, but also couples. And in the beginning, I thought, what are you guys doing here? You're married, hush, hush, get out, go home. But it didn't work that way. And then I found that they were close to getting a divorce. And I was able to fix a lot of those marriages. Some divorces I caused. And sometimes, that's a good thing. Because when you're stuck in life in a marriage and you're totally unhappy, it's just better to part ways in a nice way and say, thank you very much for 25 years. Good luck. So in 2006, I decided to do what I do best, and that is help people find and keep their ideal partner. And that's what I've been doing since.
Wow, amazing. I was looking at old Hungarian textbooks before the Second World War, and actually, women were taught how to be a mother, a wife, and how to do domestic affairs. But right now, sewing is not taught anymore in schools, not to speak about anything about relationships or knowing the other guy. So, what do you think the most common mistakes people do when they try to get somebody to live with?
Well, I have a full lineup of things, of mistakes you make when falling in love. But the one mistake that I've observed in the United States and in Europe, and I traveled to 9 countries to deliver the seminar, and I have clients from, I don't know, 15 or so. The most common mistake when falling in love, people, very, very important, is falling in love with an idea, which means you watch a Hollywood movie, you follow Bollywood movies, or you read a love story, and you decide you want to have that kind of romance too. Now, life doesn't really flow like a script, for like a movie script. But it's not only the script, it's also you have an idea, you have an idea how your future partner needs to be. And then you find someone, and this guy or girl, I'll just take a guy for now because I'm a woman. You take a guy and you project this idea upon the poor fellow. Now he's madly in love with you because you're the most sexiest thing on earth. And he then tries to do everything to please you, and he tries to be your ideal partner. In other words, he's trying to be someone he's not. Now, something that every one of my clients, every person I've ever talked to, wants is they want to be loved for who they really are. Okay. So if you're trying to be someone else, to please someone else, yes, you can do that for a year or 2 or 3 or 10, but then it gets really bad because they don't want to be someone else anymore. And what they then do is they want to change. Some people call that midlife crisis, when in actual fact, they don't like themselves anymore and they don't really know who they are because they're pretending to be someone they are not, and they forgot who they really are. So don't fall in love with an idea, and try to find out who the other person is. By finding out who the other person is, be interested. And if you're interested in the other person. You find out much more, and you save yourself a lot of trouble, a lot of heartache, and all the mess with divorce and everything. You're much faster, actually. So falling in love with an idea is the most common and most severe mistake we all make, and I'm guilty as charged. Did it more than once. Not the last time, though, because I've been together with my husband, for almost 10 years. And back then, I decided, okay, now I'm going to do everything right, because it's kind of embarrassing, wherever you go, you kind of get the red carpet treatment, and people tell you, oh, you must have such a great relationship, when in actual fact, no, he was kind of okay, but he was not. And he was before I met my husband. So when I decided, okay, that's it, I'm going to find myself the guy, and I'll do everything I tell my clients to do. And that was good, because after 5 weeks, not more, we got together and started a relationship, and that's almost 10 years ago. And we're married.
Congratulations, that's excellent.
Yep. Thank you very much.
I was fiddling trying to connect to TikTok as well, and Instagram. I could do it on TikTok, but it's only me who they are watching, and it's only in English. So we will see what they are hearing of you. But we are live on 8 additional places.
Oh my God, this is the biggest audience I've ever had. The biggest seminar actually was the biggest one-time live seminar was in Budapest.
Yes, I heard that. I wanted to go, but I couldn't.
Oh, that was the empty seat.
Yes. So you are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and 5 additional places on Facebook, which is my timeline, my company timeline, and free groups.
Wow.
So people will be able people will be able to rewatch it on these places, and we will subtitle the YouTube channel with Hungarian subtitle. So you will see how it goes.
Wonderful.
I just wanted to ask this question you just answered, like, how is your relationship now? And there was a very famous lecturer who told me, if you start giving people advice and you take 5% of all the advices you gave, then you will be a successful man.
Well, my relationship now is by far the best I've ever had, and it's also his best relationship. And it is, I have to, it's not within me. I'm not a natural genius in relationships, because I'm 57 now, and I'm with him for almost 10 years.
Way.
Yeah. I keep stretching my skin, No, this is natural. I can't. This is just how I look.
Very well.
But he's been married before. I was married before. I had a few relationships. At one point, I cried myself to sleep over a broken heart. That was in the United States. When I was there, I didn't, because of 9/11 and because of numerous other things I don't want to go into. I had no work permit. And I had nothing. And I just, I reached a point where I said, okay, that's it. This cannot go any further. And I ended it right then and there. And I thought, okay, what now? I have no work permit. I have no bank account of my own. So what do you do in a foreign country? But 20 minutes later, a friend called me, and she called me for some other reason. And I said, I just ended the relationship, and there was silence at the other end. And she had said, you can come stay with me. So whenever you make the right decision in life, there will be a next step. It might not be obvious to you, but there will be a next step if it's the right one. And I'm glad I broke up that day, that minute. And then then he almost wanted to kick me out of the country, and I thought, no, I'm not going to go out here as a loser, because I was crying myself to sleep. It was a horrible situation, and I thought, I'm going to use this to win. I have no idea what this is good for, but now I know, because having gone through all this crap, pardon my French, I know how to get through, how it feels when you're in a situation like that, how you get into it, and how embarrassed you feel that this happens to you, because it's a big PR loss when you're successful in other areas, and all of a sudden you have to admit you are in a relationship with a bleep, bleep, bloop, boop, you know? and then you have to admit you made a mistake, and admitting that you made a mistake and the whole world is watching you, not good, doesn't feel good. But I used it to my advantage, and I wish the guy well, just far away, go. So my relationship right now is really good. It's not that we never had a argument. I think we were shouting probably 4 times in those 10 years. And each time it was because of a misunderstanding, and because one person wanted to help the other person, and the other person didn't realize that or rejected the help. So it's always, that kind of stuff. But if I get for yesterday, for instance, I did the grocery shopping, and my husband, he's a very nice guy, and sometimes he cleans the kitchen, sometimes I clean the kitchen, but he's very tall and has big hands, so he wants those big thingies to scrub the pots, and my hands are much smaller, so I don't care. I can do with the small ones. So I didn't buy exact the ones that he wanted, but we laughed it off, and we had big fun arguing over the size of those scrubbies, and how to which ones he likes, and that he has to name what he wants. But we had fun over it. There was no blaming. You got the wrong ones again. Nothing. It was nice and fun, and so it you can handle those tiny little upsets in a very, very humorous way, and that's good, and that's how it should be done.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think what you have just said is very important, that somebody is trying to help the other, and the other thinks it's an attack.
Yeah, or you think I'm stupid, or no, this is my job, I want to do this, and you want me to stop doing what I'm doing, you're against me, and you're hurting me, and then no, it's like, I see how you struggle, and I want to help you, and then you go, oh, oops. So those, but 4 times in 10 years, okay, not a big deal. So it was never longer than, like, I don't know, 20 minutes. The longest one, maybe I was upset for 2 hours. So,
Yes. Somebody says on Facebook, my daughter study at school Romeo and Juliet now, and have to write an essay pacing their story into nowadays life. Thanks for some inspirational ideas.
Right. Well, the thing is that that your first love when you're a teenager, it's all romance and ideas and ideals. And you think this is the one, and you think you know everything better. Of course, it never happened to me when I was 12. But of course, you have the first crush, and you like that. And they were 12. Oh, she was 12, and so about to marry an old guy, probably 30 or 50 or something. And he was Romeo was 15. So and because of misunderstanding, because of miscommunication, they died within 5 days of falling in love. I mean, how this could be the greatest story on earth, I don't know. But when I deliver my live seminars, I always ask the audience, now, what kind of love would you like to have? What is your idea of a lasting love or lasting couple relationship? And they say Romeo and Juliet. And I thought, guys, they die. It's like, you know, and every time I say that, it's almost tears in the audience because I'm robbing them of their idea. You know, they're falling in love with the idea, and then someone like me, some evil person like me, comes along, and I'm killing the idea that you shouldn't be in love with them or you shouldn't admire Romeo and Juliet because they're teenagers, they don't know what they're doing, they're protesting, and out of a protest they do something that's scary and fun because their parents are fighting. He's saving her from a marriage to an old dude. Okay, you know, it's that's the story, and then added 500 misunderstandings, and then a little bit of poison, a little bit of a sharp knife, and there you go, you have two people dead. And they call it the biggest love story on earth, to die for someone. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't want to die for my husband, I would like to live with him. I'm very selfish. Yeah. So, I mean, the story itself is a great story, and still makes money like crazy. But it's an old knighthood game. You know, it's just to be a chevalier and to treat the women nicely and to open the doors for them and everything. That is something people like very much. Now, right now in this day and age, unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of that. If somebody in the audience likes that, you are free to like what you want. I don't. We teach men that they are equal to women. We teach women that they're equal to men. But what do you get? I get men, grown-up men, ask me, is it okay for me to pay for dinner when I have a date? And I go, yeah, of course. Why? Because there are a lot of, or some ladies, but I get a lot of guys telling me that they say, I can pay for myself. I'm a woman, an emancipation. Sorry. Yeah. So independent woman, and I can make my own money, and I don't need you. And he goes, yeah, but I would like to be a man for you. I can do all that myself. And why are you dating? So if he gets invalidated for wanting to pay, or in wanting to invite or open the door, you know, stuff like that, we are chopping up that chivalry. And on the other hand, we women would like to have a guy open the door and do all those things and be nice. We would like to be the woman. You know, it's all messed up, and that's a cultural thing. And by the way, I'm interested in history, and that was the same in late Rome, before Rome died. So, yeah, yeah. When they made a big fuss about different sexual practices, and you know, but do whatever you want in bed. I don't care. I'm not going into that, but it's a historical fact, and you know, it's just history. So if you there's nothing wrong with having women be of same, have exactly the same rights as men, voting, whatever else. Of course. But if it comes to a relationship, especially when they're a bit older, like 40, then women are looking for a man who is a man. Before that, they are easier to be influenced by common culture. After that, they start thinking and they say, I don't like that. I want a man to be a man, you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And that's totally that whatever is taught in school is kind of screwed up.
Yeah.
It,
I just saw one of the most famous Hungarian comedians, which I was having a chance to see him live as well, posting a Facebook page that he found the grave of Benny Hill. And Benny Hill was totally destroyed by this cultural woke movement, that he was making fun of women, so they don't play him in English television anymore.
mm-hmm.
And I think this is very, very interesting and comes to what you were talking about. And let me tell you an example. What you have just said is so true, that my interpreter in Russia had the same problem. Like her girlfriends told her, why do you need a man? You have your own money, you have your own flat, you have your own car. Why would you have a husband? And
Yeah,
this
yeah.
was one of the things I needed to handle on her. She was a translator for Brian Tracy as well, to lots of very famous American lecturers and me. And I think I also had a little part in the fact that she just had a second year anniversary of marriage. And this was one of the things we needed to handle, that a husband is not only to make money. This is a relationship.
Yeah, and I would like to go into this. A relationship is a team. It's not that one is more important than the other, because if you have a team of two and one's missing, you have one person. It's not a team anymore. So you have a team, and a team attacks the future goals. Not with weapons, but with decisions, that you go forward and you achieve a goal together. And if that's only, quote unquote, living together in happiness, and making sure you have enough food for the winter, or have an apartment that you like, whatever it is, but you think into the future. Now, there's another misconception I would like to take up, is that concept of dating. Now, dating right now, what I have observed is that the concept of meeting a person and see if they're fit for a relationship, having sex, and then, just starting a relationship that lasts for 2-3 days, or 2-3 weeks, 2-3 months, break up, and you date the next guy without knowing him. I'm not a big fan of that. As a matchmaker, I say you first contact the person, even if it's on match.com, and I'm just picking out one because the first one that came to mind. You contact someone, you maybe get together, and that could be on a call like this one, or on Zoom, or on Skype, on whatever. And then you may be on a pre-date, which means you have coffee together. And then maybe you go out to have, you ride a bike together, something. And then you decide if you want to date that guy. And only then, when you're dating, you're exclusive. But before that, you're making a friend. And when I was in the in a matchmaking service myself, I have two very good male friends that are also became also friends with my husband, because they're just friends. And I'm sorry, they're great, but they're not a relationship material for me. One of them has been married for quite a while now, and the other one's not. But yeah, so it's important. That sequence is important, because you go exclusive way too early, and that's dangerous. Because if you go exclusive too early, You're actually wasting time, and that's not good.
That's a very nice concept. Thank you.
The other thing also is the concept that I run into, that people say they need to test sex if they're a match, as if that was the only thing that counts. Well, sexual attraction, yes, it's nice, but I call it like the icing on the cake, because if you have a sexual attraction and there's nothing there except the sexual attraction, and one likes to spend money, the other one likes to save money, one likes to stay at home, the other one likes to go out a lot, one is interested in history, the other one says he what, it's, if there's nothing, if there's no base that connects the both of them, there will not be a sexual attraction for long. So you cannot build a relationship out if the emphasis is on sex. It might be a nice thing, or a validation of your ego to be able to pick someone up if you need that kind of validation. And I know some people do, and I'm not trying to judge. This is just my observation. Yeah, okay, fine, but it doesn't give you a lasting relationship. That's the wrong end. That's like in German we have a concept of putting the oh my god, I don't know the words. When you put all of the stuff on a horse, you
Yes.
start with the top, with a head first, not with the back, and you do it upside down, wrong way, you know and
I like
and
this.
yeah, that's when when it goes wrong, because the emphasis is not on sex. The emphasis is on, can I see him laugh? Does he help me? Does he accept my help? Is there an equal exchange? Just now, one of my clients, she fell in love with a guy who's very charming, very nice, comes over. It is a really nice guy, but he did not contribute a dime to her rent. He was using her phone, he was using everything from her car. She paid for the car, for everything. It's amazing. It's like a savings account, except there's you can't draw from that. He's just using. Those people are vampire personalities. But there was great sex. Yeah, but that doesn't pay off.
Yeah.
So, but you said earlier, I would like to talk about that. You said that how to get over a relationship when you're stuck in the past relationship. Now, I noticed that. Do you have a special question, or can I just say what I would like to
Yeah,
say?
you just so you see, my most of my clients are women, especially at the age of 40, because this is when they become really successful as a entrepreneur, plus minus. And the typical Hungarian problem is that they are in a relationship of 20 years, which is very bad. They have usually one or two children that are now close to 18. And the only reason they stayed with the guy was that the children can grow up in a marriage. But now that they are close to 18, it is like they are grown up now. They will go to university anyway soon, out of the house. So this is the time to decide, can I have a new life and can I be ever happy? Or do I need to stay in this relationship because of family pressure?
Right.
And usually this whole situation is causing sicknesses. So most of the women I talk to has to go to the doctor, and actually getting the divorce also makes them healthy.
Right.
But
Well,
why would they stuck in a relationship for 20 years just because of the family, you see?
Right.
And on the other hand, I have very many male uh, clients who just lost the love of their life, and they are really in apathy and cannot get over it.
Right. Well,
So, sorry, just this is now I can explain that as a sales closing specialist, the Hungarian word for sales closing is the same like ending a relationship.
oh,
So some of my clients are finding me that they are looking on the internet how to let go, how to close a relationship, and
I
then they
get it.
find me. So that's why I was forced to do one relationship seminar at least a year because people are needing this.
I bet they do. Well, that is a bit of a longer answer. The thing with relationships is that you make mistakes, and then you bend over backwards to be in the relationship that you don't like. Right? So you need to end it and you want to get over it. But if you don't know what the mistakes are, you won't get over it. You are stuck. Yeah. And the thing is, you will repeat the mistakes the next time because you don't even know that those are mistakes, right? Because you were successful the last time. Like, say you 20 years ago, there was matchmaking on the internet. It started off, so you found someone on the internet and you say, last time I found someone on the internet, I will go there again because it was successful the last time. The only thing is, number one, you were not successful because guess what, you're alone, you are divorced, so it didn't really work out. So just the fact that you found your spouse on the internet, or whichever other way, is not the qualifying factor to repeat the same thing. But that's something very obvious. That there are many other things that are not so obvious, and those are very, very different for each person. Now, the thing how I would like to explain is that after a while, like people are probably around 40, because 20 years of marriage makes them around 40, 50.
Yeah.
So they try to protect themselves from what they experienced in the past. And you can imagine this like a filter. You have a filter around you, and there you put everything that you don't want to have happen to you again. Okay? So you don't want someone who just pleases you but turns around and does the other thing, and you just never, or someone who betrays you, someone who does this, does that, a mother-in-law that only talks bad about you, a wife that looks great but hates sex, whatever, all kinds of things that are there, and you don't want them to happen to you again. Now you trying to protect yourself from those things, and you put them all on filter. The filter is a good thing. We all have that filter. There's nothing wrong with the filter. But the thing is, you need to understand the filter. The filter is made in a way that whatever is put on the filter, you attract. It's not repelling it, it's attracting. Okay. So whatever you put there, you have your attention on. It's like the law of attraction. Whatever you have your attention on, you will get. Now, if you have attention on the bad things, you will get the bad things. Now, we don't want the guy who's betraying us, right? We don't want the wife who looks great but is not interested in sex. So whatever, there are like the pages and pages of stuff that people put on those filters, or someone who's only interested in building the house and repairing the house but never sits down and cuddles in front of the TV, stuff like that is also something. So you attract what you don't like. What I do with my clients, and that is very successful, and that's actually the most important thing that I do for people and with people, is cleaning out and recalibrating the filter. That means we look at what is on the filter, clean that out and recalibrate so that they have what on the filter what they want. Sometimes this is very, very successful, almost within minutes. It's not always like that, and I can't promise, but sometimes, and it has happened, that people come to me. We do that, what I call the soulmate finder workshop, and we sit down. It takes a day, and the next day or 2 days later, boom, guy shows up, madly in love, happily ever after. So that does happen. It has happened before. It doesn't always happen like this, because there are some other things. Sometimes people just want to get over the loss and learn what the mistakes were, because you don't know. You sit there with big question marks. Why did we break up? It started off so wonderfully, so beautifully. It was such a great love. Where did it go wrong? What did I do? I didn't do anything wrong. Of course you didn't. You wouldn't do anything on purpose. And sometimes we do things that we don't know is wrong because we just don't know any better. Doesn't change the fact that it was wrong, but we did it, and we have no way to know what is wrong. And that's where I come in play, and that's what I do with my clients. We clean out the filter, we repair it so that it's nice and wonderful and beautiful, and then the person takes it from there. Some continue with coaching, some say thanks, I'm fine, I'm good to go, boom. Some others say I just want to heal, thanks a lot, if I need more I'll come back. And I recently talked to a lady that was like that. She was a beautiful, beautiful lady. She was with a guy who was unable to commit, and they are part of a Christian religion where they are very strict. But they did have a relationship, so she was actually committing a sin, by having sex with the guy. He didn't want to commit, but they couldn't talk about it in church, so it was kind of, it was a difficult situation. So she just wanted to heal. And more than a year after I did the workshop with her, I talked to her, and she said the beginning was healing. The first months after the workshop was healing. She found someone who wanted to commit, but it wasn't the right one, but it felt good. You could see that she was attracting what we had put on the filter, and it went better. And then when I talked to her, she had been introduced to a guy who was actually totally what she wanted, and she was in the phase of pre-dating, just finding out more about him. She had not yet decided to date him, but it was close. It was like I should have called a week later. So I'm going to call her now to find out how it's going. Sometimes it just takes time because people want to take time. Speed is not always needed, because you do need time to heal, to feel comfortable with yourself the way you are now, because you readjusted your life. It's like changing your life overnight and everything's happy in the snap. No, and it doesn't work like that. But
I
it
got
can.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, you are giving such a gems to the audience that I'm really happy that we have this talk. I'm learning a lot as well.
Sure.
There is one more thing I would like to ask you, which you just said earlier, that it took you 5 weeks to find the right one, and sometimes it's very fast. So how come it can be so fast?
Because you know what to do. I mean, why are you closing someone really fast when you sell something? Because
Yeah,
you know how it works.
exactly.
And I had standards, or not standards. I had, when it was the 5th of January of 2013, when I decided, okay, that's it. It's just, that's it. I'm gonna be with the right one or none. And I just ended a relationship with a nice guy, but it was like, nah, it was just not right. And it was just an affair. And I knew that. And I thought, okay, this is just embarrassing. Traveling through all kinds of countries, having an affair, that's not a match. So, in stupid things like that. And I thought, okay, now I will do what I tell all my clients to do, and I will get the right one. And I thought about it, and I thought about all the things that I didn't do right in the past, and I wanted to do them right now. And I thought, I want him to do this and da 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 da, and I want him to be amongst my friends or friends, because I want to make sure that he's not kind of weirdo and just playing the nice guy. So, and I want him to be interested in history, and he should have lived outside Austria, and he should speak more than one language, and he should be a musician, and he should be this, and he should be that. And there were some other qualifications. If you knew them, you go, dream girl, you won't find that guy. But I thought, what the heck? This is the guy I want, period, and I didn't tell anyone, because if you tell someone, you usually just get invalidations. And when you get an invalidation, it just adds a block where you think you don't get what you want. And that's just, yeah, bleep, bleep, bleep. So, that's just not true. And then I did what I know works to attract people, attract male communication. No, it has nothing to do with beauty or sexiness or none of that. But I did my routine actions, and there he showed up. He raised his head, and I first met him in, I don't know, 94 something. He was actually married to a lady that I worked with in 87, 88 or something. And he turned out to be a church organ player, so he's a musician.
Wow.
He went to university to study French and Italian, and he speaks some 10 languages, or at least he would survive in 10 languages, or 12 or something. And he's also studied history as a second thing at university. So there are so many things. It's like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And we're a good match. We get along really well. It's a match made in heaven. But I did the exact steps, and I did not fall in love with an idea, because at some point he said, it'd be nice to be with you, but I don't think I'm ready. And I thought, okay, good. Then you're not the guy. Bye. Bye. Period. Good. See ya. And then he changed his mind, and that was the last time he changed his mind. The rest is history.
Wow.
So, but you need to know what to do, and you have to have the discipline. And that's what I told my client the day before yesterday. You need discipline to carry out the plan, because there's a nice bird and your attraction is wandering, but that's where you need to go. So you need to adjust your head and focus on the goal, not on the nice bird, not on the sexual attraction thing. Because if you love the guy and you love someone, a woman or a man, because they allow you to be yourself, they support you in what you really want, they give you what you need, and in return you do the same. You love them for who they really are, you support them for what they need, and then you help them, and then it's an upward spiral. And that's the thing, it needs to be an upward spiral. And of course there's a technology behind it, and there's people need to talk about it, but because those concepts are so new, and I think, well, I mean, that's how it works. Just talk to people where it's a happy marriage. That's what they say. I married my best friend. Now, what is a friend? Someone who listens, someone who agrees, someone who helps, but also accepts help. That's what a friendship is.
Wow. Very nice words, and our time is soon up. So I'm very happy that you had the time now between two clients to do this interview. I think it will help a lot of people, and your webpage is in the post, so people can find you.
Great. My website is gabrielestrasky.com. Right now, I'm having a bit of a trouble with the button doesn't work, so hang on there. We are working on it as we speak. You can find me on Facebook, Gabriele Strasky, Love Like Romeo and Juliet, and there I post weekly videos. And there you go. I hope I could help you, because my purpose is to help as many people better their relationship, find love, and keep love. And to answer question, probably my book is probably coming out in January, and the title is Love Like Romeo and Juliet Without the Trouble of Having to Die.
Yes, put one copy for me, please. I'm buying it.
Okay, I will.
Okay, thank you very much
Thanks for having me.
being here. We will have a communication seminar early November. This is the webpage for this, so people can come. And we have to show some little videos, which are advertisements for me, so it will take 1 minute.
Értékesítő vagy, aki többet akar keresni? Cégvezető vagy, és fontos, hogy a csapatod jobban teljesítsen? Tölts le egy könyvet ingyen a lezárási specialista oldaláról. www.kaszatamás.hu Kaszatamás.hu A műsor együttműködő partnere Kassa Tamás és a nemszámít.hu. Lezárási specialista, kommunikációs szakértő.